Okay, in this video, we're going to be looking at SQL injection, and more specifically, we're going to be looking at SQL injection for a bug bounty platform. So if you find a SQL injection, what do you do with it and how do you exploit it? And then how would you report this in a bug bounty program? And then I'm going to show you kind of the most common way to just look for SQL injection if you are new to the world of bug bounty. So we're going to be looking for that 500 internal server error instead of looking for some blind SQL injection, which can be kind of hard to find. It actually can be really hard to find. So we're going to be looking at causing that internal server error, and then how do we exploit it from there, both with MySQL, Oracle, and then Microsoft. And then I'm going to show you how to write a bug bounty platform. And the reason this is going to be a lot easier in the world of bug bounty is because you don't actually have to exploit the SQL in order to get information back for a penetration test. We're not actually trying to pull down some passwords and some usernames. That is covered in my complete bug bounty course. So if you're interested in learning SQL injection more in depth, the first link in the description is going to be my complete bug bounty course. You can go check out the SQL injection section of that video. It is in the description down below. It'll be the first link. So let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to be over here on PortSwigger, and we're going to show you how to pull off a couple of these. We're not actually going to be doing the full union attack. I'm just going to show you what you do if you are on a bug bounty program and you're not doing a capture the flag or hack the box, because in that case you can actually use SQL map and it'll do a lot of this for you and it makes it a lot easier. So this is specifically for a bug bounty program, and then how you would write the report. So we'll just go ahead and pick one of these. So we can just click on this one right here. Doesn't really matter. They're all going to be the same. And then after this, I'm going to show you a Microsoft one because it's a little bit different. So we can access the lab here and we can open it up, let it load, turn on burp over here so that way we can intercept our request. And now that that has loaded, I'm going to show you kind of what I would do if I was looking for this. We'll go to the wrong place first so we can forward this. We'll actually shut this off. Turn it back on, open like a view details. So what I would do is I'd come to repeater. You can shut this off. One place to always check is put your single quote in the cookie, and you can send it and see if you get an error. And we get a 200, which means it is not crashing the server. So we can come over to this product right here and we can send this, and it says we get a bad request. That is not a 500, so that is not gonna be the place for our SQL injection. So we'll come back over here, turn this on, and we'll actually go back home, shut that off, let it load, open this, and then we'll click on accessories, and we have a couple more places right here. We can check this parameter right here. I don't actually remember. So this was a product with a parameter, and this one says we have a filter with a parameter, which means on the back end, this is going to be going to a different place. So we can shut this off. You can try the cookie again, but we already tried that, so it's not going to do anything. So now we can come up here and try this parameter. We send it, and we get our internal server error right here, which is what we need. So we're going to ignore this right here. It's telling us what we're supposed to do. We cover how to exploit this in the complete bug bounty course. So what we're going to do is just show you what we would do in a bug bounty situation. So we find this and we want to see, do we have a SQL injection? And so the easiest thing to do right here is just type in the famous or, and then we'll put a space for our URL encoding, and we'll say 1 equals 1, and then we can close this off. And if we send this, if the SQL injection is here, we'll get back a 200 because this is true, which means we break the SQL statement, we send it something true. This will be really common in bypassing authentication in CTFs, but you can also use this to test for SQL injection. If you are on a bug bounty program and you see something like this, is really common, especially amongst new people, is you'll send this. Don't make this mistake because this can be really hard. You'll have this server error, and what people want to do is they automatically go to a time-based delay, and they want to put in like a sleep 5 seconds, and then down here in this corner it'll tell you how long the request took, and people are like, okay, so sleep 5 seconds. The problem with that is the syntax to actually pull off a sleep statement sometimes can be really tricky. So if you go to the Hacktivity on HackerOne and you just look up some of the SQL injections where people use that sleep function, you will see all kinds of quotes and brackets and parentheses in order to get that to function. I don't know about you, but I am not an SQL master pro syntax person. So what I do is I would just throw in this or 1 equals 1, send a true statement. Doesn't require any special syntax in order to pull off a true statement because it is true in and of itself. Don't need any special syntax and it will work. And so if you actually just try to run a sleep function over here, you're going to have to use some special syntax. You can't just come to the SQL injection cheat sheet and copy the sleep statement. Let's see if we can find it. The time delay right here. Like, you're not going to be able to just copy this time delay right here and run this. It's just not going to work. So if we set this up so that we can run this, and we add in our dashes and we send this, it's going to give us back our bad request because this is not set up. And I think we have to add in like our rows in order to get this, because I think this has 3 different columns right here, and you're going to have to pass this in the columns, and you have to have the right syntax in order to get the SQL statement to work, which can waste a ton of time, and you can just simply run a 1 = 1 statement. So that's how we would do this with PostgreSQL, MySQL, and Oracle, but Microsoft is a little different. So what we'll do is we will come back to our labs and we'll actually open one up that is Microsoft, and then we'll go ahead and try this with Microsoft. So here's a Microsoft lab. We'll open this up, and it's going to be really simple. The only difference is instead of using this dash dash to comment out the rest of the statement, we use a pound symbol just like this, and that will comment out the rest of the statement. But we'll go ahead and pull it off anyway. So we're on this main page. We know the SQL injection is going to be inside this category right here, and it actually doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure you can click any of these links up here and it will open up the filter with the category parameter right here. So what we'll do is send this to repeater, shut that off, and we can put in our single quote, send it, make sure that it breaks the statement right here. So we can actually come in here now and we can just say and or, and our URL encoding. We can say 1 = 1 and then our pound symbol. And another way to URL encode this, if I didn't put the plus right there, is to hold down on a Mac, Control U, and it will automatically URL encode this. And if we do this with the dash dash first and we send it, we're going to get a internal server error. So that means this statement isn't true, which means something isn't right. So if we put in our pound symbol, we can send this now, and we get this okay, which means this works. So in the case of writing up a report for this, what I would do is I would not do this in gedit. I would have something else that's going to have like spell check and something's going to make it so I don't look like a complete idiot when I write this. But I have this open right here. And so the first thing we're going to do is you would just give the URL. So I would delete this and I would say, if you come to this URL right here. So where is my notepad? Paste this in. Actually, you know what's better is to just grab this right here. So this is the exact URL where they can find the problem. Why is this not opening for me? So paste this in. So I would say something like SQL injection can be found at this link in the pets, or we could say the category parameter, just like this. And then I would say what we did is we just used this payload right here. So we can go back. I would delete this. I would un-URL encode this because you never know who is going to be triaging this. I've seen people that have no idea what an SQL injection even is. I was reading a report the other day where the triager thought an SQL injection was informational. You couldn't get anything exploited through it, and I thought that person should be fired. So this would be our payload, just like this, and we already have it in URL encoded. And then I would say something like complete payload would be like this, so that way they can see exactly what they can put in. So if they send this, they're going to get back a okay, but if they send it with a single quote, just like this, if we send this, it's going to give us back a problem. So internal server error. So you can copy this and bring it over, and we can say this would be the break, spelled that wrong, break the statement payload, and then you have this right here, and I would say like it returns an internal server error, which tells you that you have this SQL statement just like this. And then you can explain why this is bad down here. So you would say that you can pull down information from the database, the columns, the tables, and you can exploit whatever information they store on their database. And you'd explain that down here. And then I would ask, do you want any more information down at the bottom? Because if you get somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, which it does happen, you're going to have to explain this, maybe even do a video. So you could just record a short video and then upload it if you have problems and they're not understanding what you have going on right here. So that is exploiting SQL injection for bug bounty. We're not actually trying to get any information. We're just making a proof of concept. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any comments or how you make a proof of concept for your SQL injections down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.